Hello, everybody. Hope everyone's having a great day today. Sorry for no upload yesterday. I was just very busy with work. I hung out with Chet, and by the time I got home, I was just like, dude, I am way too tired to record. I'm not gonna lie. Alright, so we're gonna go right into the video, dive right in. So, I mentioned this kid in my video called He Tried to Fight Me Over a Girl, or whatever I titled it as. And it was basically about this kid named Drew that was upset that I was hitting on quote unquote his girl, but yet I introduced her to him and all that good stuff. And I also mentioned in this video or in that video, that he was disrespecting me when my Nana passed away. He was trying to get me to skip the wake, all that stuff. So I'm going to dive into that a little bit more. I explained some of it, but I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into it of just how disrespectful and rude he was. So yeah, here's that story. Alright, so this particular morning was an early September 2019 day. I had work at 6 a.m. that day at the hardware store that I used to work at the time. And me and Drew had an argument the night before, believe it or not, because I wouldn't hang out with him and Renee. I was like, dude, I'm not third wheeling because the few times I have with you guys are just dicks to me the entire time. It's not worth it for me. And then he was like, you know what, dude, don't talk to me at work. Even if you need help, I don't care. Just don't talk to me. I was like, all right, whatever, fine. And I think I mentioned this in that other video, but for those of you who haven't seen it, Drew was the type of kid that had like very bad anger issues. Like if you did one tiny little thing to piss him off, he would like go off on you and make you feel like absolute shit about it. Alright, anyway, he got dropped off around like 8, I believe. I forget when exactly. But I remember he made eye contact with me and was like, don't even talk to me. I'm still pissed at you about last night. And I was like, whatever, dude. I don't care. Then about an hour goes by. My brother is like spam texting my phone. And he's like, bro, we gotta go. Me and mom are here. I'm like, why? And then he's like, mom will tell you. So my mom pulls up her car. Since my car was at the place that I worked at, we left it there for the time being. But I'm like, oh, what's going on? My mom's like, oh, Nana's gonna pass away, most likely. You probably wanted to say your last goodbye. It's like, oh yeah, definitely. Which obviously I said it in a way sadder tone than I just did, obviously. But I'm a terrible impressionist on even like voices or whatever you want to call it. All right, that was stupid. All right, but anyway, we get down to my Nana's, and she does unfortunately pass away. Rest in peace, Nana, to this day. But about a half hour after she passes, and mind you, we're all still like sad and shit. Obviously, like we're all grieving and stuff. Me, my family, everybody there. I get a text from Drew when he's like, dude, call me right now. I'm like, I can't, dude. My Nana just passed away. I'm with all my family. And he's like, I'm not giving you a choice, Marston. Either call me or I'm done with you. And I was like, dude, I don't really care what you think. But he starts spam calling me. And I mean, he calls me like 10 times. And mind you, like my phone's on vibrate, but people can still hear it. They're like, oh, what's going on? And I'm just telling them, oh, it's just one of my work friends being an inconsiderate dickwad. And they were like, oh, is everything okay? I was like, no. I mean, yes, everything is okay. They're just not respecting the situation right now. But regardless, I asked them, like, do you guys care if I just go outside real quick just to make them shut up? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. So I go outside of, like, the apartment complex that my Nana lived at. And I finally answer. And then he picks up screaming at me, like drill instructor style. He's like, dude, where did you go? I'm like, bro, I left work. Did nobody tell you my Nana passed away? And then he paused for a second. And he was like, I'm sorry for your loss, man. Look, I'm here for you if you need anything. Which was kind of true. He did say sorry for your loss, which was true. But here for you if you need anything, I wouldn't fully believe that. And the reason why I say that is because an hour later, I mentioned in that other video, the one where he tried to fight me, that I introduced him to this girl named Renee. I was really close with Beck at the time, and he kind of, stole her from me in a way. Like, she didn't like me in, like, a romantic way, but she liked him. But he took that to his advantage. Like, he would show off and stuff, all that. So he was out with Renee. And I also mentioned this guy named Adam in that story. Adam was Drew's, like, buddy, if you will. Like, They would vandalize shit. Like, they would do just stupid shit. Like, they've been in trouble with the cops and shit before, but that's a whole separate video. So they were telling me, because Renee wouldn't date Adam's like going off on her, calling her a bitch, all that. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, you guys do know my Nana just passed, right? And like, yeah, we know. I'm like, can we talk about that? We can talk about that whole other thing later. And then they proceed to yell at me. Renee, not so much. Renee kind of stays quiet. But Drew, like, he again just goes full drill instructor on me. He's like, dude, what's wrong with you? Do you not care about us? Are we not your friends, dude? I'm like, dude, my Nana just died. Like, my family is inside of that complex right now, bawling their eyes out. And I only stopped because you were blowing me up. I wanted to make sure you were okay. Show some appreciation. And that set him off even more. He started like screaming at me even more. He was like, what's wrong with you, bro? Like, what's your problem, man? And I was like, dude, I don't have a problem. I'm just grieving with my family. Is that an issue? When he was like, no. He literally said it like that. I shit you not. He literally said it like that. So I'm like, dude, I'm going to go. All right? I'm going to go back in. I've been gone for like 15 minutes. My family's probably wondering where the hell I am. Show some respect. And I just hung up. But as I do that, as I walk back into the complex, they keep spam calling my phone. Both of their numbers are calling me nonstop. So I decided to just block their numbers. I'm like, you know what? I don't got time for this bullshit. I'm just going to go inside, talk to my family. I don't care what you guys think. I'm out if I put my phone in the car. So I'm like, you know what? If they call me on Snap or whatever, I can't see it since I'm going to be inside without my phone. So the rest of that night goes on with my family. Like, we talk, we hug, cry, all that stuff. But when I get back to my mom's car, I see that they snapped me like 14 times each. Basically telling me I'm a fake friend and that I don't deserve their friendship, all that. And I was like, show some respect, bro. Like, honest to God. But fast forward to the day of the wake, because it was pretty quiet after that, after I just continued to ignore them. And at that point on Snap, they said to me, oh, I'm sorry. And I was dumb enough to make, okay, whatever, I'll unblock your number. So fast forward to the day of the wake. I leave my phone in the car just because I wanted to make sure my family was good. I didn't want any distractions. I go out to my car, though, about like 90 minutes into the wake just to check my phone, make sure everyone who's not there is okay, all that stuff. Just check up on my friends, all that good stuff. I see that they called me like 5 times each. I'm like, oh my God. When I go on Snapchat, I see, oh, Renee has blocked you. And the second I look at that, I get a call from Drew. And I'm like, dude, what? I'm literally at my Nana's wake, dude. What? What do you want? And once again, he's yelling at me like crazy. But going like, dude, why aren't you skipping the wake? I'm like, because it's my grandmother's wake, bro. Show some respect. And he was like, dude, like, that's disrespectful to me and Renee. You don't make an effort to see us. I'm like, dude, you're right, I don't. Oh yeah, and the night before, actually, forgot to add this part. The night before, I was at that same bowling alley I got kicked out of. I made a video about that with one of my other coworkers, actually. For the sake of the story, I'm gonna just call him Justin. So me and Justin were at the bowling alley, and I remember telling Drew that I was probably gonna go see my family down at my uncle's place, but I wasn't going till later. But they just so happened to drive by the bowling alley I was at, and they saw my car parked there. And Drew calls me like, why are you at the bowling alley? You lied. That's why you're not seeing us. And he was just yelling at me. Then Justin sticks up for me. He basically tells Drew to go fuck himself. He's being rude. Let him grieve. I remember I brought Justin back to my house that day. And he was telling my mom how rude he was being to me, all that. And my mom was like, yeah, don't be hanging out with Drew anymore. That's very, very disrespectful. I don't think that's cool. All that. So now back to the day of the wake. So I remember that night we went back to my aunt's place. And they were still just like being rude to me. And at that point I had blocked Drew. since I was already blocked by Renee anyway, so no need to block her. But I remember then they resorted to texting my brother. And they were going along going like, dude, like he's being disrespectful, he's not answering us. Like he's not skipping out on things, he's not making an effort for us. All he cares about is his family and his college friends. But my brother, shout out to him. My brother's like, you guys are even faker. And then Drew has the audacity to say fake LMAO. Like he thinks it's the funniest thing ever. And I was like, bro, like, you're not for real right now, dog, are you? Like, it's crazy how he actually thought he was in the right here. Then the next day, the day of the funeral, he decides to make like a burner text now number, whatever the fuck it's called. But he's like, look, man, I'm sorry. I know I kind of, snapped at you, all that. But I was like, dude, I don't want to hear it, bro. I'm so pissed. Like, you disrespected me. And then he proceeds to tell me, it's whatever. I'm still mad at you about last night. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me, dude? You're mad at me because I wouldn't skip out of my grandmother's wake for you, bro? Like, are you kidding me? And he's like, yeah, you can't talk to me or Renee until we say you can. I'm like, dude, what is this? Elementary school, dude? Like, what the hell? But he's like, yeah, bro. So lose all of our social media, lose our numbers, we're done. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I don't care. Then fast forward a few days later when I go back to work after the services and shit. Of course, and here's the funny thing too. Whenever him and I were close, like when him and I were good friends, we'd never be scheduled together, and when we were, we'd be pretty much opposite hours. And the staff or the management, whatever you want to call it, they would always yell at us to like not walk around together in the lot, because we were lot attendants. I think I mentioned that part in my other video. And of course, especially now when we're having this issue, they have us like the same exact hours. Like, it's crazy. The same hours, the same shift, same everything. And I was like, dude, great. But he comes up to me. I think I mentioned this in the other video. It was like, so, you want to tell me why you weren't answering me, all that? I'm like, dude, you blocked me first off. He's like, no, I didn't, all that. And he's just bickering with me for like a good 10 minutes. I'm like, you know what, dude? Go to that side of the lot. I'm going to that side of the lot. I don't care. And I just walked away from him. Like, I was like, dude, I don't got time for this shit. I really, really don't. And he was like, okay, whatever, fine. Then a couple weeks after that, I ended up just quitting my job there. I ended up working at somewhere else just because I was like, you know what? I'm not dealing with this shit. I am more of an all set. A couple months later, when I'm working at this new job, obviously this isn't the place where I work at that I'm talking about. I was at a Burger King going to see one of my other friends, of some friends. And he comes up to me. Drew comes up to me. He clears his throat. He's like, oh, you want to tell me why you're here? And then he's like, bro, like, I made a fake account, bro. Like, I was going to ask you for help with something. I was like, what the hell do you need my help for, bro? After what you did to me? But he's like, what I did to you? Like he's laughing like it's the funniest thing in the world. But he was like, whatever, have a nice life. And I flipped him off. And when I was trying to leave the parking lot, Renee literally, because he's with Renee literally blocks like the exit of the Burger King so I can't get out. I lean on my horn, like, if you don't leave now, I'm calling the cops. And then they moved. I will say that, they moved. But yeah. So, moral of the story, guys, is don't keep toxic people around. Especially people like Drew that use these antics to, like, stick around and shit. Or, I'm sorry. You can only be sorry so many times. I've made that mistake before myself, too, of some people. It's okay to admit when you're wrong, but when you're wrong, dude, just admit it. That's the other moral, I guess. Alright, guys, there's going to be another video tonight. Peace for now, though.